Hey guys, over the years I've had several people ask me what I mean when I say photo matched. And I've had many people ask me what am I looking at when I photo match? What am I actually doing when I photo match? So I thought I would make this short little video talking about photo matching, showing you how it's done and how it is designed to qualify a jersey or disqualify a jersey. So we might as well start with my holy grail. This is Peyton's jersey that he wore January the 1st, 1996 versus Ohio State in the Citrus Bowl. And I've had several people say, well, it's not real. I've seen many of those jerseys. Well, I can assure you it is real. I can assure you it is the one worn in the game. And I'm going to prove that to you here shortly. But one thing needs to be said. Sports Bell, obviously the maker of this jersey, they made many of these jerseys to give away to boosters and whatnot. And I have seen, I would say, 5 or 6 of these Citrus Bowl Manning jerseys. But there are significant differences between those and this specific jersey. Never mind the fact, as I said, this is the one that he actually wore in the game. So without any more taking up your time, let's go ahead and get started with photo matching and how it's done. Okay, so in front of you, you have a zoomed in picture of the front of my jersey, and you have a photograph of Peyton taken from the actual game. And before I get into the specifics of it, what I want you to understand is the mesh holes that you see in the jersey and the holes in the numbers. There's tens of thousands, there's millions of these little holes. And even if somebody wanted to fake this jersey, if they wanted to, they couldn't do it. These jerseys are imperfect pieces of cloth. They are stamped imperfectly. This jersey has several flaws in it, but that's a good thing. You want flaws, you want imperfections, you want things like that because it makes it stand out. Can you imagine trying to photo match a white t-shirt? It would be almost impossible. So you want imperfections, as I said. You want tears and rips and holes and stains. Well, this jersey doesn't have rips and holes and stains because he wasn't hit that much in the game. But these little holes, these millions of little holes, the way they line up in relation to each other is like a forensic fingerprint. You couldn't fake it if you wanted to. So now let's take a close look. As you can see on the left, I've got 2 black circles just picking out random parts of the jersey. And I want you to look very closely at this little spot up here. I'm going to take that line away. And I want you to notice how these holes, they start here, and they kind of work themselves at an angle that way. Well, if you look at the jersey over here, you'll notice they do exactly, precisely that. And I'll take that away. And if we come down here to this area, you'll see there is 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll notice this right here, you can see, it's a little blurry, but you can see how there's a hole right there because the corner of that 1 is not a sharp angle. And if you look right over here, you'll notice it is exactly the same. And I'll take all of those away. And it doesn't matter where you look. It doesn't matter which holes you pick out. If this is the actual jersey that Peyton was wearing, which it is, then anything you pick will match up, and it does. Let's go right here. Let's look at this line of holes right here. And I'll take that circle away. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's just a little tip of one there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and just a little tip right there. And something else about this jersey, as I said, there are many imperfections. When this jersey was actually manufactured by Sports Bell, no offense to Sports Bell, they actually did quite a sloppy job, and you're going to see that here as this video continues. I want you to pay close attention to the edge of the 1. Pay close attention to this edge. Now look right here. You'll notice how the holes are clearly inside the white. Then the line kind of runs out here kind of crooked into the orange. And then it goes back inward toward the holes. Well, if we look at the picture of the actual jersey, you'll notice there are the holes there. And then just like the game photo, it cuts the holes off. And then sure enough, it runs back in again. A huge imperfection, which again, that's good for me because it just helps verify what we already know. Now I'm going to show you something else about this jersey that's really, really unique. I'm going to bring up another photograph, and I think when you see this, you're going to be like, wow, that is pretty cool. So what you're looking at now is a photograph of the jersey when it was framed, and the person that had it before I did had it professionally mounted and framed. And as I said, when you see this, you're going to be like, wow, that is really, really cool. So if you'll look closely at that photograph, you'll notice that there is a wrinkle. Well, let me do lines instead of circles. That doesn't look good at all. You'll notice there is a wrinkle. I'm sorry, guys, my apology. There's a wrinkle right there. There's a wrinkle right there. And there's a wrinkle right there. And if you actually hold the jersey in your hands, you will notice those wrinkles are quite pronounced, number one. And number two, again, it was an error when Sports Bell made the jersey. When they heat stamped that number, something must have gotten into the press, because when they stamped it, the actual number itself is wrinkled. It's not the fabric. It's the actual heat transfer had 3 wrinkles in it. Guys, take a look at the game photograph. Wrinkle, wrinkle, and I know his name Scott is covering it, but you can see it right there. Now, guys, come on. You couldn't fake that if you wanted to. And as I said, if you hold the jersey in your hands, you can feel these wrinkles, and they are pronounced. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's take a look at another photograph of Peyton that was taken with a cheerleader, I'm assuming after the game was over. Okay, so I've got a photograph of Peyton with a cheerleader after the game, I'm assuming after the game. And I've got 3 areas marked. And just like we did before, it doesn't make any difference what part of this jersey that you look at. It's going to match up. And one thing that I want you to understand is I have collectors send me jerseys. I have auction companies send me jerseys for authentication. When you are trying to authenticate a jersey, you're not trying to prove yourself right. You're trying to prove yourself wrong. One thing that doesn't make sense, one thing that doesn't add up is all it takes to disqualify a jersey. And obviously I've looked at this jersey 50 million times, and there's not one single thing that doesn't add up, that doesn't line up, that doesn't make sense. So let's take a look at this area right here again. This line of holes, you can see they match up absolutely perfectly. And furthermore, notice right here at the very top, 2 or 3 little holes right there. Well, there they are right there. And then if we come over here to this area, you can see this corner right by her chin. I'll take those lines away. You can see the holes are perfect. And just randomly, let's go right over here. Look at this line right here. I'll take that away, and you'll notice it lines up perfectly, of course. These right here, perfect again. But here's something pretty cool. Notice this area right here where I'm putting this X. I'm going to take that X away and tell me what you see. You'll notice that the holes in the 6, they have paint left in the holes. There's little globs of paint that were stuck in the holes. Well, look right here. And sure enough, there it is. So guys, I've already pointed out, 10 things now. And if you go right down here and you look at these lines, or excuse me, these holes, they line up perfectly. As I said, it doesn't matter where you look. It doesn't matter where you look. If the jersey's good, then it's good. And if it's not, it's not. Now, I'm going to show you a few other things on the back of the jersey that, again, I think that you will agree are pretty cool. And I'm going to show you something unique about the right sleeve of this jersey that I thought was just incredible when I saw it for the first time. Okay, so we have a photograph of the back of the jersey showing you the nameplate, and we have a photograph of Peyton that I took from YouTube during the actual game. Now, obviously, the photograph from the game is blurry. You can't, well, I won't say can't, but it's very, very difficult to look at the mesh holes. But there are two things about this photograph that, again, I think you're going to find extremely unique. Take a look at the nameplate on the left-hand side of the screen, and just look at it for a second, and you will notice a couple of things about it that are rather weird. Number one, first and foremost, it's tilted downward. You see that? It's crooked. But how about this? Look at this huge imperfection. Look at the distance from this seam to the edge versus this seam to the edge. So as I said, when Sportsbell made this jersey, they screwed up royally. It is far from perfect, which again helps me. It doesn't hurt me. It helps me. Excuse me. So now that you see the fact that it's crooked and it's off-centered, look at the photograph of Peyton in the game. You can clearly see this deadgum thing is crooked. Now, I realize when you're in a football game, your jersey gets pulled and it gets tugged. I get it. But I looked at 20 different pictures of him. I didn't want to waste your time by posting them all. 20 different pictures of him, and every single time the nameplate is off-centered and it's crooked. I mean, isn't that pretty cool? Again, if you were trying to fake this jersey, which faking this jersey is not possible for all the millions of mesh holes, but even if you were, do you think they would sew the nameplate crooked and off-centered? Of course not. But there's one last really, really cool thing about this jersey. Take a look right here at Peyton's sleeve and tell me what you see. You will see that it has been cut so it wouldn't restrict his throwing arm. Well, when we take the jersey and slide it over, sure enough, there's the cut in the sleeve for Peyton. And there's one final thing that I want you to look at, and if you look at game photographs, you'll see it as well. The sleeves are actually different lengths. And the reason that they're different lengths is because they had to make room for that Sportsbell logo. So look at the length of that sleeve versus the length of this sleeve. And I will zoom out to help you do that. Look at that, their difference. You can see the distance from the numbers to the end of this sleeve is not the same as the distance from this number to the end of the sleeve. So the numbers are in different locations, as I said, to accommodate that Sports Bell logo. So, guys, I'm going to wrap the video up right here. Hopefully now this will put to rest any doubts about the authenticity of this jersey. And by the way, Peyton Manning knows I have it. He has seen photographs of it. He knows it's real. He knows it's the real deal. So hopefully, as I said, this puts to bed any doubts that this is the real McCoy. But more importantly, hopefully now you understand more about photo matching, and you see how I use all of these countless little things to qualify a jersey, or as I said, to disqualify a jersey. And all it takes is one thing. If one thing doesn't add up, if one thing doesn't make sense, then red flags have to go off. I've been collecting now for 15 years, seriously, professionally, and I've been collecting overall about 20 years. And I'm proud to say that I've helped a lot of collectors make informed decisions. I've helped a lot of collectors save their money and not get scammed. I've helped auction houses not sell stuff that was bad, or forgeries, or stuff that's not authentic. But unfortunately, guys, I have told auction houses before that their items were no good. I proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the item was no good, but the auction house sold it anyway, because auction houses are in business to make money. Honesty is not always their number one priority. Their number one priority is to make money. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at this. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it interesting and educational. And collecting is a great hobby. Game-used jerseys are my passion. And I hope you enjoy the photographs when I post them. And as I said, thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Go Vols.